This is my very first tutorial. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how you're going to underglaze your bowls. We have talked about the difference between underglaze, glaze, and glazes. So I just want you to be aware once again that the little bottles are different, that these, if they say glaze, that that's a glaze, to really look for underglazes. Ours are called a velvet underglaze, and that's just because of the look. It's supposed to look a little bit more velvety. So before you choose your colors, make sure you're thinking of what your color scheme is. A lot of people get appealed to the bright colors, but be aware that you want to have a scheme that works for your piece. So you always want to mix them up just like the big glazes. You would stir them up. These ones you can just shake as long as you know the lid is on tight. I have my brushes, glaze brushes. I have a couple paint brushes for some smaller details that you can use for glazing. I've washed them. I've washed my pieces just like I do for glazing, just to get all that extra dust off that's been hanging around in the room. If you're going to just apply the color that's in here, and this is medium blue, you can just dunk your brush, as long as it's clean, directly into the jar. I'm applying generously, just like you do with glazes, but the thing to take note of is that with underglazes, you are going to want to do multiple layers. If you're not looking for an opaque look, you can leave one layer and possibly paint another color right over it, and then you'll start to get more of that watercolor painterly effect. Because we've talked about that there's not silica in this underglaze, you can underglaze the bottom of your piece. So I'm just going to set this to dry on the side. This bowl here I've already done some decoration on, but I've used black slip. So if I don't want to lose that design, what I might do is just hit some underglaze here and here where the clay body is showing, or my other option is to just put a clear glaze over it. So this is the same glaze we use in Ceramics 1. It's just an underglaze, it's just transparent. It looks pink because it's going to change in the kiln with that chemical reaction. This is what it would look like after you put that clear on. So if you're going to just be adding a clear, again, make sure you wash your piece, stir your glaze really well, and you can just apply a clear glaze to your entire piece. Remember, 2 to 3 layers of this clear glaze also. The other option for this, like I just spoke about, is if maybe you want to add some detail, you could leave the black slip exposed and just add a splash of color to the bottom. But before you would put the clear over this, if that's what you're going to look for, before I would put the clear over this, I would fire this once. Firing it once, then you won't smudge your blue sharp line with this clear transparent. So we can fire these multiple times if that's the look you're looking for. So you guys have all seen the sculpture before, but I want to explain what I did because that might help you understand some other techniques. So on here, I painted the entire thing once, glazed it, sorry, not painted, and then I fired it so that his skin color was fired onto the piece and not going anywhere. And then I added the black underglaze, and then just wiped it away so it stayed in the cracks. Okay, so back here, I have a little detail that I didn't finish that I'm gonna add in some color to. The rest of my words down here, I'm gonna keep a different color. I'm gonna use a little brush for details, and what I'm going to do is put the underglaze on generously and make sure it gets all into all of those cracks. And then I will let that dry just a little bit, and then I'm going to sponge that away. So going back to this piece, it's now dried up pretty quick, and I have a nice thick layer on it. So what I do want to do is get one more nice layer on there so that this blue will be really nice bright blue. Now all I'm doing by adding this blue is making a blue bowl, and there are blue glazes out there. So you do want to think about what you're going to do next to this bowl to really utilize the underglazes to their fullest. So you may do a stencil after this and have a blue as your background. The other videos I posted after this have a couple more advanced techniques on how to do some stenciling. I've talked to you about this piece where I had put down tape and stickers and then put a underglaze over it and removed it. And in the video that's posted after this, they'll show how you do that technique. I hope that gives you a starting point to start your underglazes. If you have any more questions, you can always ask me.